So, good evening. Today we are going to learn about the properties of bases. Under properties of bases you find 1. A reaction of base with metals. So in the last class, in the last period, last session, we understood that metals react with acids or acids react with metals, liberates hydrogen gas. But in this case, most of the bases do not react with metals. Most of the bases do not react with metals. But very few active bases can react with metals. Like for example, sodium hydroxide react with metal. Zinc. So some strong bases can react with active metals, producing metallic salt. Here is forming the sodium hydroxide is a base, react with metals. And a strong base react with a active metals, active, not with all metals, producing metallic salt. Metallic salt plus hydrogen. Here they are liberating hydrogen. Only in few cases you can find this reaction. So for example, sodium hydroxide react with zinc, produces sodium zincate, Na2Zn O2. Sodium zincate plus hydrogen gas. Hydrogen gas. Sodium hydroxide on heating with zinc produces sodium zincate plus hydrogen gas. Okay, so this indicates what some metals only can react with bases, not all metals. So when these active metals, when they react with bases, producing hydrogen gas, as in the case of acids react with metal producing hydrogen. So all acids, almost all acids react with metal producing hydrogen. That is a common, but is a exclusive character, not a common character. Is a exclusive, means only some cases you can find this type of reaction, salt and hydrogen gas, like the acids. This is the reaction of base with metals. Second one, reaction of base with non-metal oxide. Non-metal oxide. Here is the one. Say for example, non-metal oxide, carbon dioxide is a non-metal oxide because carbon is a non-metal. Carbon is non-metal oxide. Nitrogen oxide, that is a non-metal oxide, and sulfur oxide is a non-metal oxide. Chlorine oxide, non-metal oxide. Bromine oxide, fluorine oxide, like all these are non-metal oxides. So when the base react with the non-metal oxides, they are producing salt and water. Salt and water. Let us see this one. When a base react with non-metallic oxide, produces salt and water. So we did in the previous session, what is in when acid react with a base producing salt and water. Understanding? When a base react with acid producing salt plus water. Here what you understood from this two reaction comparison? This indicates non-metal oxides acting as acids. So in the previous, metallic oxides acts as bases. Metallic oxides acts as bases. But now non-metallic oxides, they are treated as acids. Non-metal oxides treated as acids. Example, sodium hydroxide react with carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide, non-metal oxide, is acting as an acid. Convert into sodium carbonate. So you can write sodium hydrogen carbonate, sodium bicarbonate, sodium hydrogen carbonate. Okay. Of course, sodium hydrocarbon on heating gives a sodium carbonate also. So sodium, yes, next one. Potassium hydroxide is a base. React with nitrogen dioxide. Nitrogen dioxide is a non-metal oxide. So potassium nitrate, KNO3, potassium nitrate plus water, H2O, KNO3 plus, okay, potassium nitrate plus water to now. K3NO3 So potassium nitrate, potassium hydrogen nitrate, binitrate, potassium hydrogen nitrate. So you can write the answer is. So he is a base and he is a non-metal oxide, produces salt. So like that, a base react with the non-metal oxide like a sulfur dioxide or chloric oxide, like the different oxides. They can react, they producing salt plus water. So here is the reaction with the base, reaction of base with metals. So second one, reaction of base with non-metal oxides. Next one, reaction of base with metal acids. Third one, let us see this one. Let us see the next one. Reaction of third one, reaction of bases with acids. I gave already this a new relation. In that case, the same thing. Say for example, potassium hydroxide react with acid like a nitric acid KHNO3 producing potassium nitrate KNO3 plus water. So here is nothing but a neutralization. So reaction of base with acid is a neutralization reaction. So these are the important properties. Another one is the electric conductivity. Next property is electric conductivity. Let us see that also. When we take this a glass beaker, provide 2 electrodes and connect with the battery, electric bulb, and the beaker is filled with the base solution like a sodium hydroxide solution or magnesium hydroxide, calcium hydroxide, like this is a base solution. So we find that the bulb is glowing. So we know already bulb is glowing means current is passing through the solution. When current is passing through the solution means the solution contains ions. Solution contains ions. Ions present. That's why the bulb is glowing. Now you take another beaker and here also provide 2 electrodes. You can a carbon rods or you can use a copper rods, and the bulb is connected here. Now this beaker is filled with the ammonium hydroxide. Filled with ammonium hydroxide. When it is filled with ammonium hydroxide, you find the bulb is glowing. Here also the bulb is glowing. When this beaker is filled with a sodium hydroxide, here the bulb is glowing. Here in this base solution ions are present. In this base solution ions are present. Ions present. But what is the difference here? The bulb is glowing more brightly. Why the bulb more brightly? Because concentration of ions present more in number. Ions are more. But in this case the bulb is glowing dim light because ions are present but there are less number of ions are present. So here this also indicates that the concentration of ions is important for the brightness of the bulb, for the rate of flow of current. So the concentration of ions, that is molar concentration of ions, increases in the solution. The rate of flow of current increases, the bulb is glowing bright. That means in some bases bulb is glowing more bright because more current is flowing because of the presence of more number of ions. Concentration of ions is more. In some bases like ammonium hydroxide, in some bases you find the bulb is glowing less brightly. Bulb is glowing but less brightly because presence of ions in the solution is less. The concentration of ions is less. That's why here indicates the less number of ions, indicates the more number of ions. So bases also conduct electricity like acids. Acids conduct electricity because of the presence of H plus ions and anions, some non-metallic ions. But here in this case, bases also conduct electricity like acids. Here because of the presence of ions. What kind of ions are there? Let us see this one. When sodium hydroxide dissolved in water, sodium hydroxide dissolved in water, what happens? So this base breaks into sodium ions and hydroxide ions. Magnesium hydroxide when dissolved in water, what happens? Convert to magnesium ions and hydroxide ions. Calcium hydroxide, this is called lime water. Calcium hydroxide, so it forming calcium ions and hydroxide ions. So here what is saying? All bases are conducting electricity because of the formation of positive, negative ions. Here the negative ions are common. What are the hydroxide ions? So you can write bases are conducting electricity because of the formation of hydroxide ions. Acids are conducting electricity because of the formation of hydrogen ions in their solution states. In basic solutions, hydroxide ions are forming. In acid solutions, hydronium ions or hydrogen ions are forming. Hence, acids and bases are conducting electricity. But whereas sugar solution, glucose solution, kerosene, benzene, naphthalene, you find all these things. There you cannot find the flow of current because they are not forming ions. They are existing only molecules in the solution state, in the liquid state, in solution or in liquid state. So that is the answer you can write. So now let us see the one more activity. Now you see, strong acid salt react with strong acid produces acid plus strong acid salt. Less strong acid salt react with a more strong acid, produces less strong acid plus more strong acid salt. More strong acid salt. So here is example. Sodium, I'm giving here, you see. Sodium hydroxide react with HCl, producing sodium chloride and water. So in this case, sodium chloride is a salt of HCl. Sodium chloride is a salt of HCl acid. So compare here, HCl is a less strong than H2SO4. So when compare here, both are strong. HCl is a strong acid, sulfuric acid also strong, both are strong. But relatively compare these two, HCl is relatively less strong and sulfuric acid is more strong acid. So this HCl is a less strong. So this less strong acid salt is sodium chloride. So sodium chloride is called less strong acid salt. Less strong acid salt. That is sodium chloride. React with strong acid, more strong. Here sulfuric acid more strong. H2SO4. Produces what? Less strong acid. Which is less strong? HCl is a less strong. This is a more strong. So which is producing? Less strong acid is producing. So that means which is less strong means HCl is producing. Plus more strong acid salt. Here which is more strong? Sulfuric acid. So which is the salt here is saying? Which is the salt? Sodium sulfate. Sodium sulfate. This is the answer. So we can write here is a less strong acid salt react with more strong acid producing less strong acid plus more strong acid salt. So what are maybe? So let us come to our syllabus. Sodium chloride on reaction sulfuric acid gives hydrochloric acid plus sodium sulfate. Okay. Now let us see this experiment. Take one test tube with a small amount, means a pinch of, so small amount of what is there? Sodium chloride salt. Sodium chloride salt. Then hold the test tube with a test tube holder. This is called test tube holder. Test tube holder. So then add few drops of sulfuric acid. Just add sulfuric acid, H2SO4. What happens? When we add acid to the salt, reaction takes place. When reaction takes place, when colorless fumes are forming, colorless fumes are forming, colorless gas is forming. So this colorless gas, what you expect is the hydrogen chloride gas. Hydrogen chloride gas is there. This is the gas. But here is a solid. So now you bring one dry litmus paper. This paper is called dry litmus. So this dry litmus paper, do not change its color. Means blue color not changes into red, red color not changes into blue. So the color remains as it is. Why? Now in the second case, introduce the wet litmus paper. Wet litmus paper. What happens? Here is a no change in color. When we take the wet litmus paper, what happens? Red color not changes into blue. Red color not changes to blue. But blue color litmus paper changes to red. So what happens? When introduce the wet litmus paper, red litmus not changes to blue. Not changes to blue. But blue litmus changes to red. So this indicates what? This indicates this gas, the liberating gas is a acid gas. The liberating gas is, so hydrogen chloride gas is a acidic gas. It is acting as an acid in the wet state. In the dry state, it is not acid. See, in this case, the gas is dry. Here the gas is dry gas. Gas of what? Dry gas of HCl. Here the litmus paper is also dry. So both are dry. So there is no possibility for the formation of ions. For the formation of ions, Hence, the litmus paper not changes its color. Either blue to red or red to blue, not changing in the color. But in second case, because of the wet condition, wet means nothing but moisture, water molecules are present in the litmus paper. Because of these water molecules in the litmus paper, this HCl breaks into He plus ions and OH minus ions. Because of He plus ions, blue litmus changes to red. But red is not changes to blue. Why? Because red litmus changes to blue means it is a base. There should be OH ions. But in this case, OH ions not present. Only H plus ions are present in this gas formation. Therefore, blue litmus changes to red. This indicates dry HCl gas is not acid, not behaving as an acid because of H plus ions are not present. But in the moisted H plus HCl gas, but moisted HCl gas behaves as a acid because in moisted state, blue litmus changes to red because of the formation of H plus ions. Because of the formation of H plus ions. Now, sometimes gas is dry gas is there, litmus paper is also dry, but sometimes it is changes the color. Why? Because there is some humidity in the atmosphere. In the surrounding air, there is some water molecules are present more in number. That is the reason the dry litmus changes to color. In that case, we must take the precaution, supply this dry gas through the, because what says the dry gas when enter the atmosphere, it is mixing with the water molecules. So there may be some what you call ions, H plus ion formation takes place. So to avoid that, we should supply this dry gas, means hydrogen chloride gas, through the anhydrous calcium chloride. Anhydrous calcium chloride. So when it's supplied through anhydrous calcium chloride, this is acting as a dehydrating agent. Dehydrating agent means that can remove the water from the gas. So if this dry gas, HCl gas, may contain some water molecules in the atmospheric air. So that water molecules are absorbed by the calcium chloride, dehydrated calcium chloride. Hence, we can get the dry gas. Then test with the dry litmus, no change in the color. When you test with the wet litmus paper, it changes blue litmus to red color. So that we can identify the test. This indicates acids behaves when there are H plus ions. If they do not contain H plus ions, they are not behaving as acids. Suppose you take the concentrated sulfuric acid, just sulfuric acid. So that sulfuric acid is not behaving as acid. Though this acid contains H plus ions, hydrogen is present in the molecule, but H plus ions are not present in the concentrated acid. Therefore, it is not acting as acid. But when this acid dissolved in a little amount of water, a small quantity of water, then H plus ions are forming in the solution, then it behaves as an acid. Understand again? So this means H plus ions are present, then the gas behaves as an acid. If H plus ions are not present, the gas is not behaving as acid. So H plus ions are important for the characteristic properties of the acid. Okay, clearly understand here? So here this is the why the dry litmus paper not changes its color in the HCl gas, because there are no formation of H plus ions. There the gas contains only HCl molecules. That is the reason. So why the wet litmus paper color changes? Because when the wet litmus paper contains water molecules, when exposed to the gas converted into ions, liberating H plus ions, forming H plus ions, hence the color changes. So that is the answer we can write under these conditions. Okay, now what happens when HCl dissolved in water? Give the chemical equation. What also you write? When HCl dissolved in water, it is forming hydronium ion and Cl minus ions. That is answer. When HCl dissolved in water, producing hydronium ions, not hydrogen ions, hydronium ions and Cl minus ions. Second point, what happens when sodium hydroxide dissolved in water? Give the chemical equation. So here you find sodium ions plus hydroxide ions are not present, not as in the case of the first hydronium ions. Here the water is not reacting, so just water makes to break the base molecules into ions. That is the answer you can write. So because of this condition, here in this case water is not represented plus H2O, you can put in water is the above the arrow mark, so that when you write above the arrow mark indicates this is not reacting, just only dissolving, but in this case it is a reacting. That is the distinction. Okay. Right, we will continue the next class, remaining part.